Time is cruel, but nostalgia is so sweet. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be opening up our time capsule to tell you what happened this week in history, November 25th to December 1st. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're scouring our memory banks and the history books to find 5 interesting stories that'll make you miss the good old days. Be sure to keep an eye on our community tab to vote for your favorite memories on upcoming episodes. 26 years ago, Aladdin freed the genie, November 25th, 1992.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
Between lyricist Howard Ashman's death, Robin Williams' financial dispute with Disney, and numerous other problems behind the scenes, Aladdin was looking like a bomb ready to go off. As we all know, however, this diamond in the rough wound up being a high point of the Disney Renaissance.
A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming.
While the film initially opened second behind Home Alone 2: Lost in New York, it wouldn't be long until Aladdin climbed to the top of the box office charts, becoming 1992's biggest movie, and surpassing Snow White as the highest-grossing animated feature ever. With a live-action remake heading to cinemas in 2019, songs like Friend Like Me and A Whole New World will not be leaving our heads anytime soon. 14 years ago, Ken Jennings' winning streak comes to an end. November 30th, 2004.
Ken.
Who is Aristophanes?
Ken.
What's the Trojan horse?
Ken.
Who is Jean Lafitte?
Ken.
What's the dodo?
Ken.
What is Stella?
It was an anomaly when contestant Ken Jennings made his Jeopardy debut on June 2nd, 2004, marking the beginning of a winning streak that would span 74 matches. That being said, all good things must come to an end. And challenger Nancy Zerg finally gave Jennings a run for his money on November 30th, 2004. Confusing FedEx for H&R Block, Jennings' winning streak was over. Although Jennings had reached Final Jeopardy in more ways than one, he's anything but a loser. When all was said and done, Jennings had won over $2.5 million.
$29,000 is what you get today, and it brings your total to $2,520,700.
Today, he remains the show's biggest winner, and the second highest earning game show contestant ever.
It doesn't really matter what I do for the next 50 years of my life, I peaked at 30, my tombstone's gonna say, that Jeopardy guy.
29 years ago, America's Funniest Home Videos, the original YouTube, November 26th, 1989.
America, America, this is you.
In the digital era, anyone can record a video on their iPhone and upload it to social media. Back in the 90s, however, the only way to share home movies with a mass audience was to break out a heavy camcorder and mail a VHS to this video clip show. Terms like streaming, trending, and viral video weren't even part of everyday lingo. Initially premiering as a special in 1989, America's Funniest Home Videos was quickly picked up as a series that's still airing almost 3 decades later. We're not sure what's more nostalgic, watching the original episodes featuring Bob Saget, or watching current episodes where Alfonso Ribeiro, also known as Carlton Banks, has assumed hosting duties.
For as long as I host this show, I promise to do my best. On the other hand, if you want to be on this show, you might want to do your worst.
5 years ago, Disney releases Frozen, original motion picture soundtrack, November 25th, 2013.
No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go.
Frozen only came out 5 years ago, but it's hard to remember a time when people weren't listening to the soundtrack on repeat. It quickly became clear that the world would not be letting go of Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez's music anytime soon, as the soundtrack dominated the Billboard charts, sold over 4 million copies, and made Idina Menzel a household name. While the film's lead single won an Oscar and a Grammy, songs like Love is an Open Door and Do You Want to Build a Snowman have cemented their places in pop culture.
Do you want to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman.
Go away, Anna.
Okay, bye.
And you'll be hearing even more about Frozen when its sequel hits in 2019.
Does it look bad?
No, you hesitated. No, I didn't.
36 years ago, Michael Jackson breaks new ground with Thriller, November 30th, 1982. almost a decade after his sudden death, there's still a lot to be said about the King of Pop. Controversy aside, Michael Jackson will always be remembered as a music legend, with this historic album marking the pinnacle of his superstardom.
It's got a hot saucer, avocados, cilantro mixed with your choice of beans, chicken, beef, or pork.
With famous titles like Beat It, Billie Jean, and of course Thriller, Jackson's sixth studio album sold roughly 66 million copies, becoming the best-selling album of all time. In addition to being an enormous commercial success that remains unbeatable, Thriller was seen as a major turning point for performers of color on MTV. Perhaps the only thing more iconic than the music itself is the album's cover featuring Jackson in his iconic white suit.
Hey, Looney Tunes! This is what Michael Jackson looks like. You look like a big fat mental patient.
You'd be amazed how often I hear that.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.